Hello. Today we're talking through the Feng Shui flying stars energy that are all moving around on Wednesday, the 4th of February 2026. And they will be in these areas until the 3rd of February 2027. So if you have any crystals or metal that you're reusing, you can just move it from one area to another. But you do want to make sure that you're cleansing them the night before. So you throw away any old saltwater cures that you had for this year, remove them. I would use gloves, place gloves on, take it outside of the home completely, wrap it in a bag, make sure it doesn't spill, and I put mine in a bin outside the home completely. You don't want that salty, negative energy anywhere near you or your home. If you have any crystals or metal, you can reuse them. And a wealth vase, if you've got one of those, that can just continue as it is. The wealth vase will stay in the southeast, as that's a normal southeast money area. And this year, again in the southeast, we do have the main money wealth star. Only this year it's a fire star rather than a water star. With your metal and earth crystals on the 3rd, I want to place them in the windows, in the windowsill, under the moonlight, or outside if you have nice weather, depends on where you are in the world, and place some salt on them. I wouldn't put salt on the crystals if some crystals can be really sensitive to it. You could put maybe a bit of salt underneath, a layer of cling film or something, and lay the crystals on the top, but I wouldn't put the crystals in direct contact with the salt. But you can with the metal. So that will help. And you can also use sage to cleanse them, but I would definitely put them under the moonlight on the 3rd. And then on the 4th, we move into the new flying stars energy. So there's a difference between the lunar new year and the solar new year. So you might have heard people talking about the year of the horse, which is about to start on the 17th of February. It's a very, very fast moving, powerful, forward moving energy. And you might have already started to feel it this year. We have also got a lot of massive astrological changes. So with traditional astrology, I'm not talking about Chinese astrology now, we've got Uranus that's been in the same position, the same sign for 7 years. That's moving into Gemini. We have Chiron that's been in the same place for 7 years, and that's moving this year. We have Neptune that has been in the same sign, Pisces, for the last 13, 14 years. That has just moved on the 26th of January into Aries. We have Saturn, which is a really strong, powerful energy, all about structure, can cause restrictions, but structure and pulling away the foundations and creating you. And that is about to move on the 13th of February. So we've got all these major planets all being in their sign for a long time, the last sign for a long time. We had Pluto move not long ago as well. Massive changes coming, and you really need to be prepared. Now, Feng Shui is really the strength and the difference between how balanced you feel and how regulated your nervous system is and how at peace you are with your life. So if you have all of the elements in balance here, we have mental clarity, we have earth, surrounding and stability, fire, which is passion and drive and forward movement, abundance, which is water and flow, feeling like you're in flow, and wood, and that creates growth and direction. So we really want to have a balance of all these energies. Now, if I just very briefly guide you, there is a guide that's been added into school, and I'll put it below here as well. So this just explains about the origin of the Feng Shui and how the flying stars came about. I'll create a different video for the introduction and just talk about generally Feng Shui and the different types of Feng Shui. So just go to the other video if you're interested in that, or just read through the guide. And the normal standard Bagua is still the same. So the north affects the career, the northeast affects spirituality and wisdom, the east affects family, the southeast affects the oldest daughter and money, the south affects the middle daughter and fame, southwest affects the main mother figure and marriage, the west affects young children and creativity. And I'm saying young children like up to about 7 or 8, really young children. Other than that, I would go to the other areas to look for the area that affects your particular children. The centre is the health, and the northwest is travel and helpful people, and the father figure or husband. Those all stay the same and they are fixed permanently. What moves is the energy that moves into these areas every year. So this year we have the ninth star, which is the main wealth star in the southeast, which again is good for money because it is a main money star. We have the not right energy, which is the number 5 earth star in the south. So we really want to focus on emphasizing these. But the good news is we have a water star in the middle. So in the center of the home this year, that can potentially impact all of the other areas. So when we have a really positive energy in the center of the home, it can be a really good year. So that's good news. Now, I personally have found that I can get incredible results, sometimes instant, if I just move something in the house, move a colour, move something that's happening. So I don't like to focus on the negatives, but if you know which areas can impact where and which areas can impact what, you're able to then look at that area and see throughout the year, if something happens, go to that area first and see what you can change, see what you can move around, what colours you need to add. And on the 4th of February, I would say do everything that you possibly can to have all of the home balanced. So even if it's just a 5-minute job, take your time. If you already have your metal elsewhere, move it into the right place. You can put red, a candle, you can put red placemats, you could put red cushions, you could put a red picture, metal coloured pictures, a rug, blue watercolors, whatever it is that you've got to get in that area. Move your plants around, move your crystals around, move your salt lamp. The things that you already have in your home, do your best to place them and place them with intention at that time. So here we go. Center of the home is the brilliant, wonderful water star. So this is a positive energy and it's excellent when it is in good combination with anything else. It is a good start and you can activate it. Ordinarily, if it was anywhere else, I would say activate it with a water feature. I don't think it's the best idea to use a water feature in the center of the home. You can if you're absolutely certain and you want to trial it. But personally, I feel that it's difficult to say exactly where the center is. And if you were to accidentally place it in the west or borderline going into the west, you could accidentally be activating the bad wood energy that you don't want to activate. So I would just say leave it as it is. Avoid candles in the center or earth because that's going to dampen it down. And you can activate it with a bit of metal if you want to. Any kind of metal furniture or metal colours, greys, silvers, and trying to just use the area if you can. If it's like an empty space, make sure you just walk through that every single time you go anywhere. If it's not an empty space and it's up against a wall, depending on the layout of your home, try and use that. See if you can put a desk there or something, and utilize this energy as much as you can. And that goes for all of the positive areas. So the other positive area that does really well with the water feature is number 4, which is in the northeast. So this is not going to move until the 4th of February. So don't place anything there before the 4th, because it's not a great energy until that point. I forgot to say, by the way, you might want to get a notepad. You can download this, but I'm writing more. I'm saying more than I've written. So in the northeast, number 4 is a really good energy, and that is it's pretty balanced. It can be fed with a water feature, and it can help with writing projects, money, and overall flow within the household. And you need to make sure, if you get too emotional, or you have someone in the home that it gets too emotional, it might be an excess of water. But because the wood and the water are together in that area, usually it would be pretty good flow, pretty good balance. It can occasionally impact the lungs and chest. So if you find that you're having any of those kind of issues, just switch off the water feature and they'll probably go away pretty quickly. So the number 2 star is an earth. That's in the northwest. So this is very grounding energy, very good for this is like generally fame and reputation. So it can help you with social media. It can help you to be more well known in the world. So if you kind of want that, you can activate it with fire, a salt lamp, or crystals over £5. Fire and candles is really good here. And just remember, this is also good for travel. So a good positive energy here can be good for that. But just remember, if you have too much earth energy, can affect your digestive system. So if you get any kind of stomach problems or issues and you're kind of blocked, you might have too much energy there, in which case you just want to remove the fire. And if you get any kind of anger issues from the father figure, you might have to reduce the fire a little bit there, because that's the area of the home that affects the father. So a not so great energy we have in the west this year, which is quite an overpowering wood energy. Now, in extreme cases, this can cause legal issues. So if you're having any kind of legal issues, I would focus on this area. Placing red, place a candle there for 4 hours every single day, light the candle, and then snub out the candle and say thank you. Use the color red permanently there. If you get too much anger, too much frustration is often from wood, but yeah, too much fiery energy there, then reduce it down a little bit. But generally, depending on where it is in the home, it can impact things it can impact legal issues very, very positively in your favor if you were to place a salt lamp, leave it on permanently, or candles. So if you're having any kind of legal issues, so just try the salt lamp, try the candles. The 5 earth is in the south. Now this is the not great energy. This is kind of the worst that we can get, really. So we want to keep this area quiet as much as possible, create a new salt water cure on the 4th of Feb. And then also heavy metal. If it's in a kitchen and you've already got your dishwasher or your fridge or something there, that's fine. You can place maybe one plant or a little bit of water, but you absolutely need to avoid earth and fire. And you also might want to get, what I highly, highly recommend is some kind of moving metal. Now this is just a clock piece, so it's like the center of a clock. You just get it, the functioning part of it. You just get it on Amazon. They're about £4 or £5. They're not very much. Or you can get a ticking clock that moves permanently, or a very gentle 6 chime metal wind chime. 6 rod wind chime is what I meant. Make sure it is metal, and it's got to be really, really gentle. But with this is where the metal needs to move constantly. And I've known people where this can cause bankruptcy, legal issues, money issues, accidents, illnesses, things like that. And I've known people to have situations occur because the battery has run out. And the minute that they put the battery back in, it sorts itself out. It can be really that powerful. If you're having any kind of accidents, like in the kitchen, or just dropping water, dropping earth, dropping things, wherever this is placed, really, really try very hard to get that metal, and that's 30 pounds or more, 22 kilos of metal, preferably round, nothing too sharp. If you already have your washer, your dishwasher, your fridge, or anything like that there, that's heavy metal already in that area, or any kind of metal furniture, but you still want to get the saltwater cure and the clock. Do everything that you can to calm this energy down. Otherwise, you will likely find procrastination happening, and that's the best case scenario. So I had a client the other day message me to say she doesn't know why, but she's put all her Feng Shui cures in, but she was really, really struggling to exercise. And I said, have you actually put all of your cures in? Have you got the full amount of metal? Have you put the 22 kilos worth of metal, or 30 pounds worth of metal in that area, upstairs and downstairs, and on every floor? So I have 3 floors. I have that on every floor. And she said, oh, no, I've got a bit, but I haven't got the whole lot. And actually, I realised that area where the south is now is where I was trying to exercise. So I said, well, if I were you, I would move rooms. So you go somewhere where there's an active energy and try your best not to use that area. Same with the southwest. Try not to use that area as much and keep them quiet. The next one after 5 is the 6, which is the north. And we love the north having the 6 energy because they are both combined really, really good for career. So if you want to, for your career, you could have an upward growing plant, and that represents growth this year. I wouldn't have a massive plant there, because if you have a lot of wood energy, and I would avoid water and fire and green colours, because you want this metal energy to be as strong as possible. Now, upward growing means that you're setting the intention, if you place a plant there that's upward growing, to grow your business, grow your career, and have good luck. I wouldn't have a massive plant there. And then you want to place also more metal if you can, and crystals will support that. So crystals will ground the energy, and it will support the metal, and the metal creates mental clarity. So you could have all kinds of good ideas that come up this year, and the motivation to push them forward, and a lot of good luck with the metal energy. So if it's possible, I would have a desk in the center, in the north, in the southeast, or in the east. Any of those areas would be really, really good to work, to spend as much time as possible. And then we have the number 7 energy, which is quite an overpowering energy. That's in the southwest. Southwest is generally the marriage area. So if you get any kind of arguments, I would put a water feature there or have a little bit of watercolors there. That can dampen passion though when it comes to marriage. So ordinarily I would recommend wherever the number 7 is having a water feature, which it was previously in 2025 in the north. Because it's the marriage area, I would say use a little bit of red. Or you could put a couple of plants there and that will kind of take away the energy a little bit. Avoid metal and avoid crystals. Sorry. This can be really, really strong, overpowering energy. But a little bit of red can just weaken it. And if you keep it quiet, it's fine anyway. Sorry. Don't panic if you do have any heavy metal that you can't move from there. Just place a bit of red to melt the metal. Okay. Lovely, lovely energies. Number 8 and then number 9. Number 8 is in the east, and that is really good for relationships. Really, really good for creating romance, good for writing, just good general positive energy overall. And placing a bit of red here as well as the crystals can activate that energy, and the same with the southeast. But obviously we're in a fire year, so you really do need to be careful about how much fire you add in the home overall. Think about where you could balance out the energy. So if you've got a lot of fire already, I wouldn't add maybe any extra candles or fiery colours in the southeast. Just add plants, because the plants will feed the fire and create the growth. And then the fire itself will remove any frustration that you might have had by having so many plants but not having the rest of the balance in home. I would always have a water feature if possible. So I would either put that in the southwest or put it in, probably the best place really is the northeast. But you want to have a water feature, so you continuous flow of water to keep you in flow. I would also always have plants in the home. Natural plants, as a section that explains which plants to have, not in this guide, but in the main Feng Shui Manifest guide. And obviously the earth energies, you want to make sure that that is reduced from the bad earth with metal, and that helps with mental clarity and stops any procrastination. And then you want to enhance the good earth energy in the east, and that is helped with a salt lamp. Leaving a salt lamp on, that can create harmony in the house, in the family as well. A little candle, a little bit of red, and that will give you some drive and energy to move forward. And then the metal energy we want to create more of. We want to build that energy up in the north, and we want to add more metal in the south. With the metal in the south, it really needs to be open and available for the energy to be dispersed. So don't hide your metal right underneath the bed. Don't hide it underneath the sofa if you can help it. You can put it down the back of a sofa as long as there's enough energy circulating. You can put it behind something as long as it can still circulate. But if possible, I would leave it out open, in the open air, so it can help to calm that earth energy. Please let me know if there are any questions in the box below. And I'm just going to go back just to give you an idea again. So anywhere that you want metal, just look outside at the bottom actually. This tells you the areas, this tells you the parts of the body that are impacted and the elemental cycle. Yeah, this is probably the best one to look at. So wood supports, water supports wood, wood supports fire, fire supports earth, earth supports metal, metal supports water. Anywhere you've got something that you want to enhance, you look at what would support it. Anything that you've got, anything that you want to reduce, like a bad wood energy in the west, you look at what will weaken it. We would always go with the weakening cycle or the strengthening cycle first. You try your best not to go the destructive. So water dampens fire, but it can create a lot of strong energy, and we already have a lot of strong energy in the year of the fire horse. Earth and wood, you want to really keep it to a minimum with the destructive cycle. So have a look around the home, make sure you have a balance of all of the energies. We want a balance of metal, earth, fire, water, and wood. And once you do this, bear in mind, it can take a week or so for the energy to settle sometimes, or it could be that suddenly you just place everything and you feel completely at peace. Some people I've spoken to have said, I don't know if I've got the time to be able to do all of these things, so what should I focus on? I say do all of them as much as you possibly can. All I do is I will move something from one place to another, to another, to another, and that's it. So I've got some red cushions, I've got a red picture, I've got red plant pots, I've got my plants. I just go and I'll move them around on the morning of the 4th, and in the space of a few minutes, it's done. If you start thinking about it now, you're more likely to be able to be organised. You could buy a new blanket, a new rug, a new cushion cover, but you just move them around every year and do your best to focus and then leave them for the year. Let me know if there are any questions, and make sure you upload the guide and cleanse all of your crystals and your metal. Thank you.